Welcome to the first part of our journey together. Today, we're talking about a big problem many English learners face. Do you know grammar rules? Can you write a perfect sentence? But when it's time to speak, do you feel stuck? Don't worry, you're not alone. This happens to so many people. Knowing grammar is great, but it's not enough to make you a confident speaker. Why not? Let's figure it out together. Part 1. Understanding the problem. Why grammar isn't enough. Think about this. Imagine Maria. She's an English learner just like you. She studies hard and knows all the grammar rules. She can write a perfect email or text message. But when she tries to order coffee at a cafe, her words disappear. She freezes. Her heart beats fast. She knows the grammar, but speaking feels so hard. Have you ever felt like Maria? Maybe you've tried to talk to someone, but your mouth just won't move. It's okay, I've been there too. So why does this happen? Grammar is like a map. It shows you the rules of the language. But speaking is like driving a car. You need practice to feel comfortable. Without practice, your voice stays quiet. Another reason is fear. Are you scared of making mistakes? Do you think people will laugh if you say something wrong? I get it. That fear stops many learners from speaking. And one more thing, grammar books don't teach real-life talking. Have you ever noticed that? You learn I'm going to the store, but in real life, people say, I'm gonna grab something quick. It's different. Let me tell you a true story to inspire you. There's a famous person named Albert Einstein. You've heard of him, right? He was a genius scientist. But did you know he was slow to speak as a child? People thought he wasn't smart because he didn't talk much. Yet, he kept trying. He didn't let fear stop him. Later, he said something amazing. I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. Isn't that cool? Even Einstein struggled with speaking, but he didn't give up. You don't have to be perfect to start speaking English, you just need to try. Now, let's laugh a little. Speaking English can feel like a comedy show sometimes. Imagine you're at a restaurant. You want to say, "Can I have water?" But instead you say, "Can I have waiter?" Oops! The waiter looks confused, and you turn red. Has that ever happened to you? It's happened to me. Mistakes like that are funny and they're part of learning. Don't be afraid of them. They show you're brave enough to speak. Here's a question for you. Think of a time you knew the grammar but couldn't speak. What stopped you? Was it fear? Was it not knowing the right words? Take a moment, think about it. Pause for 5 seconds. Got an answer? Great! That's your starting point. Today, we're going to change that. We're going to use fun stories to help you speak English with confidence. Stories make speaking easier because they give you real-life words and phrases. They're not boring like grammar books. Have you ever tried learning with stories? If not, you're in for a treat. Let's wrap up this part with something important. Knowing grammar is a fantastic skill. You should be proud of it. But to speak well, you need more. You need practice, confidence, and real-life examples. That's what this video is all about. We're going to use stories to turn your grammar skills into speaking skills. Are you excited? I am. Speaking English doesn't have to be scary. It can be fun, and I'm here to help you every step of the way. Before we move on, I have a small challenge for you. It's your first daily challenge. Today, say one sentence aloud about your day. It can be simple. Try something like, I ate breakfast this morning. Or I watched a video today. Say it out loud, even if you're alone. Feel your voice. Don't worry if it's not perfect, just try. That's your challenge for today. Say one sentence aloud about your day. You can do it! Let's start small and build your confidence together. Part 2. The power of stories for speaking practice. Now that we know why grammar isn't enough, let's talk about a fun way to improve your speaking. Stories. Yes, stories are like magic for learning English. They make speaking easier, more exciting, and less scary. Have you ever listened to a story and felt happy? That's what we're going to do today, use stories to help you speak English with confidence. Why are stories so powerful? Think about this. When you hear a sentence like, the cat ran away, you don't just hear words. You see a picture in your mind. A little cat running fast. That picture helps you remember the words. Stories give you context. Context is like a helper. It shows you how words fit together in real life. Grammar books don't do that. Have you ever tried to talk about a grammar rule in a conversation? It's boring. But stories? They're fun and they stick in your brain. Let me give you an example. Imagine a boy named Tom. He's learning English, just like you. One day he reads a story about a lost dog. The story says, the dog barked at the moon. Tom loves dogs, so he remembers that sentence. Later, when he's walking outside, he sees the moon and says, the dog barked at the moon. He practices speaking without even trying. That's the power of stories. They give you words and phrases you can use in real life. Have you ever learned a phrase from a story or movie? Maybe something like, I'll be back, from a famous film. Stories make speaking natural. Here's another reason stories are great. They help you feel confident. When you listen to a story, you hear how people talk. You hear simple sentences like, she opened the door. You hear questions like, where are you going? You hear answers like, I'm going home. This helps you understand how English sounds in real conversations. And when you repeat those sentences, your mouth gets used to speaking. It's like exercise for your voice. Have you ever repeated a line from a song or a TV show? That's practice and it works. Let's hear from someone famous. Walt Disney, the man who created Mickey Mouse, once said, "The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." Isn't that inspiring? He believed in action, not just words. Stories are your action. When you listen to a story and repeat it, you're doing something. You're not just reading grammar rules, you're speaking English. Walt Disney started with stories, and look how far he went. You can start with stories too. Now let's have some fun. Stories can be silly sometimes, and that's okay. Imagine a story about a chicken who wants to fly. The chicken says, "I can fly high." But then it falls into a puddle. Splash! You laugh and you remember the words fly high and puddle. Mistakes in stories are funny and they teach you English. Have you ever laughed at a silly story? Laughter makes learning easier. It takes away the fear of speaking. Here's a question for you. What's a story you love? Maybe it's a book, a movie, or a tale your family tells. Take a moment, think about it. Pause for 5 seconds. Got one? Great! Now say the name of that story out loud. Go ahead, say it now. Pause for 5 seconds. Did you do it? Fantastic. That's your first step to speaking with stories. You just used your voice and it felt good, right? Stories are special because they make English come alive. They're not boring like grammar exercises. They give you new words, show you how people talk, and help you feel brave. In this video, we're going to use stories to practice speaking. You'll listen, repeat, and even tell your own stories. It's going to be fun, and you'll see how easy speaking can be. Are you ready to try? I know you are. Before we move on, I have a daily challenge for you. Today, tell a friend or yourself one sentence about a story you like. It can be simple. Try something like, "I like this story about the little fish." Or, "My favorite movie is about a superhero." Say it out loud. Don't worry if it's short, just use your voice. That's your challenge. Tell one sentence about a story you like. You've got this. Let's keep the fun going in the next part. Part 3. Listening and repeating. Building confidence. Let's move on to something exciting, practicing speaking with stories. Today, we're going to listen and repeat. This is a simple way to build your confidence. When you repeat after me, your mouth learns how to move. Your voice gets stronger. It's like training for a sport. The more you practice, the better you get. Are you ready to try? I know you are. First, let's talk about why repeating works. When you hear a sentence and say it out loud, you're teaching your brain and your mouth to work together. It's not just reading silently, it's speaking. This helps you feel more comfortable with English sounds. Have you ever tried repeating a song? Maybe you sang along to your favorite music. That's the same idea. Repeating makes speaking feel natural. Now I'm going to tell you a short story. It's called The Dog and the Bone. It's a simple story, perfect for practicing. I'll read it slowly, and after each sentence, I'll pause. When I pause, you repeat the sentence out loud. Don't be shy, say it with me. This is your chance to practice. If you're alone, that's fine. If you're with friends, even better. Let's start. Here's the story. One day, a dog found a big bone. Now repeat after me. One day, a dog found a big bone. Pause for 5 seconds. Great job. Let's keep going. The dog was very happy. Repeat. The dog was very happy. Pause for 5 seconds. You're doing fantastic. Next sentence. He walked to a river. Repeat. He walked to a river. Pause for 5 seconds. Wonderful. One more. The dog saw his reflection in the water. Repeat. The dog saw his reflection in the water. Pause for 5 seconds. Amazing! You just spoke 4 sentences. How does that feel? Pretty good, right? Let's try a little more. Here's the next part. The dog thought it was another dog. Repeat. The dog thought it was another dog. Pause for 5 seconds. Perfect. He barked at the reflection. Repeat. He barked at the reflection. Pause for 5 seconds. You're a star. Last one. The bone fell into the water. Repeat. The bone fell into the water. Pause for 5 seconds. You did it! You spoke the whole story. Give yourself a big smile, you deserve it. Here is an example from real life. My friend Anna learned English this way. She listened to short stories and repeated them every day. At first, she felt shy. She thought her voice sounded strange. But after a few weeks, she started speaking to her friends. Now she talks confidently. Repeating helped her feel brave. Have you ever tried something like this? Maybe with a teacher or a video? It really works. Let me share a famous quote to inspire you. Helen Keller, a woman who overcame big challenges, said, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all." Isn't that beautiful? Speaking English is your adventure. Repeating stories is a daring step, and it's worth it. You're not just sitting quietly, you're speaking. That's how you grow. Now let's have some fun. Imagine you're the dog in the story. You see your reflection and you bark. Woof! But then, oops, the bone falls. Splash. It's a little funny, isn't it? The dog made a mistake, just like we do when we speak. Mistakes are okay. They make us laugh and learn. Have you ever said something silly in English? Maybe you said cat instead of hat. I've done that too. It's all part of the adventure. Here's a question for you. How did it feel to repeat the story? Did your voice feel stronger? Did you enjoy it? Take a moment, think about it. Pause for 5 seconds. I bet you felt proud. That's what repeating does. It builds your confidence, one sentence at a time. The more you practice, the easier it gets. Before we finish this part, let's talk about why this matters. When you repeat stories, you're not just saying words. You're learning how English sounds in real life. You're getting ready to talk to people. It's fun, it's simple, and it works. In the next part, we'll try something even more exciting, answering questions about a story. Are you excited? I am. Here's your daily challenge for today. Practice repeating this story 3 times. Say it out loud. Start with one day a dog found a big bone. Go all the way to the bone fell into the water. Do it 3 times today. You can say it to a friend, a family member, or just yourself. Don't worry if it's not perfect, just try. That's your challenge. Practice repeating this story 3 times today. You're doing great, and I'm so proud of you. Part 4. Interactive speaking practice with stories. Let's take your speaking practice to the next level. Today we're going to do something interactive. I'll tell you a story and then I'll ask you questions about it. Your job is to answer out loud. This is a fun way to practice forming sentences. It's like having a conversation with me. Are you ready to try? Let's dive in. Here's the story. It's called The Lost Key. Once there was a girl named Lily. She lived in a small house with her cat. One day she lost her house key. She looked under the table, but it wasn't there. She checked her bag, but it was empty. Lily felt worried. Where was the key? Then her cat jumped onto the windowsill. Lily looked up and saw the key shining in the sunlight. The cat had found it. Lily smiled and said, "Thank you, little helper." That's the story. Now let's practice speaking. I'm going to ask you some questions. Answer out loud, okay? Don't worry if your answer is short, just try. Here's the first question. Why did Lily lose the key? Think about it for a moment. Maybe she dropped it. Maybe she forgot where she put it. What do you think? Say your answer now. Pause for 10 seconds. Great! Did you say something like, she dropped it? Or maybe she forgot it? Whatever you said, you're doing fantastic. Here's the second question. Where did Lily find the key? Think about the story. Where was it? Say your answer out loud. Pause for 10 seconds. Did you say on the windowsill? That's right. The cat showed her where it was. You're speaking English, and it's amazing to hear. One more question. What would you do if you lost your key? Imagine you can't find your key. Would you look in your bag? Would you ask a friend for help? Say your answer now. Pause for 10 seconds. Wonderful! Maybe you said, I would look in my bag. Or I would call my friend. Every answer is a chance to practice. How does it feel to answer out loud? Pretty good, right? Let me tell you about my friend Sam. He's an English learner too. When he started, he was shy about speaking, but he tried this same exercise answering questions about stories. At first, his answers were short, like yes or no. But after a few days, he started saying more. Now he talks to his coworkers in English every day. Answering questions helped him feel brave. Have you ever tried talking about a story? It's a simple way to practice. Here's an inspiring quote from a famous person. Nelson Mandela, a great leader, said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Isn't that true? Speaking English might feel hard at first, but when you answer questions about a story, you're doing it. It's not impossible, it's possible, and you're proving it right now. Let's add some fun. Imagine Lily's cat hiding the key on purpose. Maybe the cat thinks, "I'll play a game with Lily." It jumps around and Lily laughs. Cats can be silly, can't they? Have you ever had a pet do something funny? I once had a dog who hid my shoe under the couch. I laughed so hard. Stories with funny moments make speaking enjoyable. They take away the fear. Here's one more question for you. What's one thing you lose sometimes? Maybe it's your phone, your keys, or even your pencil. Take a moment, think about it. Pause for 5 seconds. Now say it out loud. I lose my... Go ahead. Pause for 5 seconds. Did you say it? Fantastic. Maybe you said, "I lose my phone." That's another sentence you've spoken. You're getting better every time. Answering questions about stories is a powerful way to practice. It helps you think in English. It helps you speak without planning every word. And it's fun. You're not just repeating, you're creating your own sentences. That's real speaking practice. In the next part, we'll talk about overcoming speaking fears. But for now, you're doing something amazing. Are you proud of yourself? I am. Here's your daily challenge for today. Retell this story in your own words. You can tell it to a friend, a family member, or even record yourself. Start with, "Lily lost her key." Then say where she looked and how she found it. Don't worry if it's short, just try. That's your challenge. Retell the story in your own words today. You've got this. Keep speaking and I'll see you in the next part. Part 5, Overcoming Speaking Anxiety and Next Steps. We've made it to the final part of our speaking journey. You've done so much already, repeating stories, answering questions, and building your confidence. Now let's talk about something important, overcoming speaking anxiety. Do you ever feel nervous when you try to speak English? Don't worry, it's normal. Today, we'll face that fear together and plan your next steps. Speaking anxiety is something many learners feel. Maybe you think, "I'll make mistakes," or "people will laugh at me." I understand those thoughts. They can stop you from speaking. But here's the truth. Mistakes are okay. Even native speakers make mistakes. Have you ever heard someone say, or forget a word? It happens all the time. Mistakes don't mean you're bad at English. They mean you're learning. Let me tell you about my friend Lisa. She's an English learner too. When she started speaking, she was so scared. She thought her accent sounded strange. One day, she tried ordering food at a restaurant. She said, "I want chicken," but her voice was quiet. The waiter smiled and said, "No problem." That smile made her feel better. Now Lisa speaks English every day. She's not perfect, but she's confident. Facing her fear helped her grow. Have you ever tried speaking even when you felt nervous? That's courage! Here's an inspiring quote from a famous person. Maya Angelou, a wonderful writer, said, "Courage is the most important of all the virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently." Isn't that powerful? Speaking English takes courage. Every time you open your mouth, you're being brave. You're not hiding, you're trying. That's how you get better. Let's laugh a little. Speaking can feel funny sometimes. Imagine you're trying to say, "I like the beach," but instead you say, "I like the peach." Oops! You're talking about fruit instead of sand. Has something like that happened to you? It's happened to me. I once said ship instead of sheep. My friend thought I was talking about a boat, not an animal. We laughed and it was fine. Mistakes can be funny and they make great stories. So, how do you overcome speaking anxiety? Practice every day. Start small, like saying one sentence. Record yourself and listen to your voice. You'll see how much you improve. Talk to a friend or a family member. They'll support you. And don't aim for perfection. Just aim to try. Have you ever recorded yourself speaking? It's a great way to hear your progress. Here's a question for you. What's one speaking fear you have? Is it making mistakes? Is it your accent? Take a moment, think about it. Pause for 5 seconds. Now, say it out loud. My fear is... Go ahead. Pause for 5 seconds. Did you say it? Fantastic. Saying it out loud helps you face it. That fear doesn't control you, you control it. Now, let's talk about your next steps. You've learned how stories help you speak. You've practiced repeating and answering questions. Keep doing that. Find more stories on Learn English with Stories 365. Listen to them, repeat them, and tell them in your own words. Practice a little every day. Soon, speaking will feel easy. Are you excited to keep going? I know you are. Before we finish, I want to say something. You're doing amazing work. Be proud of yourself. Speaking English is a big goal, and you're taking steps to reach it. Don't stop now. Keep practicing, keep trying, and keep having fun. You've got the tools, stories, courage, and your voice. Use them every day. Here's your daily challenge for today. Set a goal to speak one story sentence every day this week. Pick a simple sentence from a story you like. For example, the cat ran away. Say it out loud every day. You can say it to yourself, a friend, or even your pet. Do it for 7 days. That's your challenge. Speak one story sentence every day this week. You're ready for this. I believe in you and I'm so proud of your progress. Wow, what a journey we've had today. Let's recap what we learned. First, we talked about why knowing grammar isn't enough to speak well. It's a start, but speaking needs practice. Then we discovered how stories make speaking fun and easy. They give you words and confidence. We practiced repeating a story to build your voice. After that, we answered questions about another story to practice real speaking. Finally, we faced speaking fears and planned your next steps. Keep using stories to improve. You're doing so well and I'm proud of you. Practice every day and you'll speak English confidently. You did it! You've taken a big step towards speaking English with confidence. Every word you say, every story you tell, brings you closer to your dreams. Learning English is an exciting journey, and you're not alone. I'm here with you, and so is our amazing community. If you enjoyed this video, please support us by subscribing to Learn English with Stories 365. Your subscription helps us create new videos that make learning English more fun and effective. Don't stop. Now keep practicing, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself. Also, join our Facebook group, Learn English with Stories 365, to connect with learners around the world. Together, we'll make English speaking easy and enjoyable. You're amazing, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.